Welcome back to Xenonauts. Last time Charlie 1 gave us a pretty clear mission, apart from the fact that one of the aliens did a suicide attack. We encountered the next type of UFO in the sky, and it vexed us a bit. We realised we're quite far behind in terms of tech there. We had a really easy mission with Charlie 3, that was quite nice, and Charlie 2 also did a regular mission that went somewhat smoothly in the end. So with all that sorted, we're now going to move on towards some more important missions. I'm going to start things off with a bit of an experiment here. I sent a single damaged Foxtrot to attack one of these groups of fighters and a bomber, probably one of the same ones we've attacked previously, because I wanted to see, can we launch the torpedoes at just the bomber and then run away? The answer is sort of. We saw for a second there that the Foxtrot started aiming at the bomber, but then stopped aiming at it at the last second, and the delay in actually turning to face the bomber meant it ended up being in the fighter's line of sight. Also, I was clicking like mad trying to get the Foxtrot to turn off to the left, so it wasn't actually in the arc of fire of the fighter, but it just didn't happen. I must have unselected it at some point. Anyway, but we did actually destroy the bomber, so we've learned that it's possible, and this also deletes the fighters from the geoscape. I've researched the tank. I'm just mentioning this because people were asking about why I'm not using tanks. The answer is because if I researched this earlier, I wouldn't have laser weapons or something. You can't do everything, but I might get the tank at some point. I also researched alien precision plasma. Apparently some of the guys have actual sniper rifles, even though their regular rifles are basically sniper rifles, but I don't know who are actually carrying them. Maybe it's the Harridan enemies. The main point is that it unlocks a new research, plasma weaponry, and that sounds like the sort of thing we need, an actual straight up tech upgrade, so we'll go for that. Now the next set of alien UFOs appeared. There was one set that said it was going for a terror mission up in northern Europe, so I sent fighters after it right away, but my fighters were intercepted by a single alien heavy fighter that was wandering around. I wasn't very confident that I'd be able to actually bring this thing down in a manual resolve, so I thought I'll take that 100% auto resolve. It did though damage all of my craft quite a bit. That's a shame, but we can't stop. We need to carry on and try to stop the terror mission from occurring. So all I need to do is get the Foxtrots to launch their torpedoes at the landing craft. We'll just ignore the fighters and then try to get out of there. So I started that plan, the Condors just being a distraction, the Foxtrots circle around ready to shoot the landing craft. But it doesn't happen. Like in the previous fight, as they circled around just before they got to the point where they'd be able to release the torpedoes, they actually stopped turning, and I'm not quite sure what's causing this. I've seen it happen a couple of times before, and I think it happens in the future as well. For some reason, there's something that stops you from turning. Maybe if the turn's going to put you on a trajectory to go into an enemy arc of fire, it automatically doesn't do it, or something. The end result was we lost all of our interceptors, the terror mission went ahead, and here we are. Charlie 1 had to go and sort this out the hard way. That really sucked because I thought I had them there. We start things off by shooting out of the helicopter at an alien we can see with ray and pray, and we get a kill. That's always a good omen. Big Iron makes a run for that car to see what he can see, and he sees a couple more enemies. There's a civilian in the shop to his right, so I'm going to go and take cover that somewhat covers that direction, and forwards, where we saw another civilian in the road. Boom, headshot tried to get the kill there, but we couldn't do it, so we're going to end up somewhat outflanked here since we're being attacked from two sides. In the alleyway to our up and left, there's some action. A local trooper shooting at something that we can't see. It sounded like it might have actually killed something. Then he gets killed by an alien emerging through the door. It also shoots in our direction, but that must have been a completely unaimed shot, and it completely missed. Then the other civilian down the road shoots at us and misses as well, so that's good. Now those two enemies are nice targets for us since they're standing in the open. Well, this one isn't quite in the open. Ray and Pray hits the car in front of it and blows it up, suppressing the enemy. So I thought we can move in close now and take advantage of the suppression with Big Iron. Moved up, took the close range shot, but it was really bad. We got 2 misses out of 3 there, and we spotted more aliens in the distance. There's still someone in the shop, and there's someone over to the left. So Big Iron's in a bit of a dangerous position here. I really need to at least kill the civilian in front of him, because it can just shoot Big Iron, and if it gets more lucky than Big Iron did, its shotgun to the face strategy could be deadly. As for that alien in the alleyway, I'm going to get Hillary Highcount to shoot from the chopper and bring it down after getting weak-willed out of the way. Now back to this. I'm going to run in with Barrel Scrape and just go for the stun first of all. Unfortunately, we don't get the stun and he's out of points, so now he's also standing in a bad position. In the end, it came down to just moving Betty Buckshot up to shoot at close range, and finally we got the kill. We ended up with half the squad sitting in the open, not an ideal position. Fortunately, we're not going to be punished for that. Here we are in the next turn. Nothing happened, essentially. The aliens just shuffled around. A Reaper did walk up in front of us, and we were able to kill it with weak-willed there. And Boom Headshot can shoot through the beams over here and see another Reaper in the distance. I guess that was what the civilian soldier was engaging. And we also picked up the kill, so very good work. I just kept hanging around near the chopper because aliens kept appearing, and I liked all the cover we had around here. Wasn't enough though for Useless. She takes a shot through a couple of windows and over the flower bed, losing most of her health. Get a bit of reaction fire, and at least we can now see the enemy since it's taking cover behind full panes of glass that we can just shoot through. Useless heals herself up, and in the meantime I sent Big Iron to check inside the shop because I was sure there was still an alien in here, and there it is sitting in the corner. Gonna go in for a close range attack because the shelves protect Big Iron from the left, so the other alien we know about can't see Big Iron now, so that's handy. Doesn't really matter and either way because Boom Headshot was able to actually shoot through everything and kill that alien in the door there. Good work from him. Next I advanced into the shop and generally advanced a little bit looking for more enemies. One appears in the door at the back of the shop. Big Iron's trying to get reaction fire, but it's doing the thing where cover in front of your cover blocks your line of sight, even if you're technically shooting over it because the game's a bit weird. The alien throws a grenade at Barrel Scrape, and he resisted the damage somehow, so that's good. He didn't actually get annihilated like we usually do, and we've ended up with a very favourable situation. The alien's just sitting there and ended up having Betty go around the back of the building and just surprise this guy by coming through the door. Now we can see there are lots of aliens across the road hanging out in another shop, and there are also a couple of Reaper zombies at the bottom left hand corner of the map that I need to keep an eye on. I've got Useless here, getting some reaction fire on one of the zombies as it approaches. She's supported by Ray and Prey and Boom Headshot, just making sure those zombies don't do too much. While the rest of the squad is just going to stay put and watch the aliens across the road dancing around. They're not aggroed onto us, I don't think, so they're just doing their thing, and we'll wait to deal with the zombies before we start moving over there. Dealing with the zombies was pretty easy. We just waited for the zombies to get close so that after we turn them into Reapers we can easily get another shot and take them down. So there's one example right there with Boom Headshot getting the finishing blow. I was aware that there was an alien somewhere off to my left as well, so we've got the squad watching left and up on the other side of the shop. There goes the other Reaper with Ray and Prey getting the final blow. So that's now sorted and we can start folding around to the left in order to cover our flank a little bit better. Once all that's sorted, we need to engage the enemy across the road, and I happen to look and realise we actually can just shoot them right now with Hillary Highcow. Another weird cover thing, the other end of the bench she's behind is blocking her line of sight apparently. But we can get a shot, and I get some damage and suppression onto one of the aliens in the shop, and I'm guessing this is going to aggro them onto me now. We spot a Reaper moving just on the edge of our line of sight off to the left, so we'll keep an eye on him. There's also a civilian in a building there. That was the guy I suspected was on my left somewhere, because I'd seen doors opening and closing or something. Otherwise, the aliens don't do all that much. They're still sort of there in our line of sight. Here, Betty moves around a corner to shoot one of them in the face. Not enough with one blast. 2 blasts does it. Now she can hide behind that bus that will completely obscure her from alien view, I believe, at least for now. I wonder if the AI knows she's actually there and could go around the corner to attack her. Does it remember where you moved? I don't really know. In this case, they didn't, obviously, they just shuffled about. The alien on our left, though, came out of the door and shot Big Iron, who was going over to investigate that building. He resisted the damage, though, thanks to his wolf armor, I presume. We've got the next tech level of armor, and it seems to have a chance to just completely deflect attacks from the alien's middling tier plasma weapons. These aren't the heavier plasma things like on the drone we saw in the last Terra mission. So that's good, we're starting to out-tech the enemy in some way. Probably won't last very long though. Big Iron got the kill on that alien. We also tried to shoot one of the aliens hanging about across the road with Hillary Highcal. Wasn't enough damage to kill it. I've got weak-willed up on this roof. I thought I'd be tactical and try and shoot down the street, but he ended up never having line of sight on anything, so he's just sitting there, and we're going to do it the untactical way, just get Betty Buckshot to shoot the enemy in the face, and then we'll go back to our business. The business right now is looking at this building to the north, because I was aware there was an alien on the second floor, so I'm waiting for an opportunity to run over to the door and go in to take a look around. There were 2 more aliens over to the left in the corner of the map, and they started coming over towards us. Now, I probably could have actually shot with weak-willed in that situation, but I'm not even going to bother, because we've got guys watching this direction just in case this happened. Here, Ray and Prey can shoot around this car. I'm going to shoot the one on the left, since that will mean it's a lower distance for Big Iron, who's hiding by that other car, to just charge the other one. Although that said, this doesn't necessarily help us, because we needed even more time units to pull this off. I didn't realise my magazine only had 1 shot in it, so when the first shot doesn't kill, he uses most of his time units reloading, and now he's just sort of standing there awkwardly. We got away with it because Highcal over here could turn and shoot after getting Big Iron out of the way, and that alien just went down easy enough. As for the other guy up to the north, while that was happening, I'd been setting up to enter the building, and apparently the alien had been setting up to leave the building. We met each other on the stairs just inside the door, went in for some whacking with barrel scrape, and that ended the mission. So overall, this was probably the easiest terror mission. I think it was a lot down to luck. The enemy missed us a lot, and we resisted damage or just somehow got away with it in most cases when we did take attacks. So there we have it. A shame we didn't dodge the terror mission altogether. After that, I'm going for an alien base attack. I actually discovered this alien base at about the same time as the terror mission. It's down in Australia, so Charlie 1 immediately after returning had to go out again to fly across the world to deal with this. Some Foxtrots intercept a Corvette on the way, and now finally a nice relaxing aerial battle where you don't have to do anything. And this time they actually targeted the enemy, so that was good. Anyway, so we arrive at the alien base in Australia with no further hiccups. It tells us here there's an alien leader in the base, so this is our story objective. We're supposed to be capturing alive an alien leader, and like with the alien officer, it just says you'll recognize them by their hat, so that was annoying. We're back to staring at their hats and trying to stun as many aliens as we can just in case it's the one we actually want, because they don't look all that different. I started things off by just waiting around in the deployment room. I had good cover facing the one door leading out, so thought we might as well just stay here and see if anything's aggroed onto us. And apparently something was. Some guys are setting up in the corridor outside. Now though, they are busted. First barrel scrape goes to stun that Reaper, and down it goes. There's another Reaper slightly down the corridor. We'll just take some shots to bring it down. Neither of them appeared to have particularly special heads or hats, so I guess they're not the alien we're looking for in this case. Once that was done, close the door again and just continue with the plan. Another Reaper appears. It ran all the way in. Luckily, it got shot with reaction fire. If it had attacked, we would have lost someone right away, probably barrel scrape. Then I discovered another Reaper in the corridor adjoining the one we were fighting in just now. With him down, we can now start moving out and actually occupying this corridor with a view to moving on somewhere else. There's an alien at the end of the corridor on the left who must have come through the door while I was moving over here with the rest of the squad, but Betty Buckshot deals with that threat easily. There's even a nice bit of cover for her to hide behind where she can watch over the door. As for where the corridor continues off to up here, there's 2 more doors down there and more aliens, including one alien that's just around the corner, and Big Iron is able to take him down before he sneaks up on us. That's nice. Overall though, not the best position, because we can now be attacked through the door on the left or down the corridor to the north, so it's very outflankable, our position. Anyway, as for off to the left, we discover a strange yellow-green room behind the door with a load of aliens waiting around inside who are probably now going to be aggroed onto us. The weird pods in the middle mean we don't have good line of sight, so it's a bit of a challenge to attack through this door. But I still try to do the thing where I take control of the door itself and open and close it at my leisure in order to try and get line of sight. But we couldn't really get anything, as I said, because those pods and because there's cover and stuff. There were never any good shots for us to take without actually going into the room. Eventually one of the aliens was just inside the door, so that's fine. We'll go out, kill him, and then go back in. That's a relatively safe thing to do. On the way out here with Betty, we actually ended up discovering that there's another alien near the top end of the room, a Harridan. With that, we really can't go into this room at all. We would be so easily outflanked if we tried to attack that I just wanted to hide behind the door and really hope for better fortune. So I kept hiding. An alien appeared from the northern corridor and gets blasted with machine gun fire, and somehow, weak-willed, he was keeping watch on the corner, didn't die. All the shots actually went past him. It's a friendly fire miracle. I just didn't expect this guy to be alive. I was sitting here like, wow, this character's still here. Don't know how he got away with it. Anyway, his watch continues and he sees an alien at the end of the corridor. I took a shot. This is completely pointless because if you don't kill them instantly, they're just going to regen all the health. But anyway, he can go back into the corner and keep watch to see if another one will come around. As for the yellow room, we're not having much luck. Can't really get the shots that I need. Then an alien comes up to the door, opens it and shoots some sort of grenade launcher at point blank range, doing a load of damage. The Harridan tries to throw a grenade by hand and completely fails, luckily enough. Some reaction fire goes out, doing nothing. Then another grenade comes in, falling slightly short of the target, I think. It actually hits the civilian in the door, and barrel scrape resisted damage, so it didn't do anything, that final grenade. That was nice, but now we're in a bit of a bad situation. Betty has lost loads of health and is panicking. I think it said that she was fleeing, but she fled to the tile she's already on or something, so nothing happened in the end, and that's good, the best fleeing path, I suppose. But we really need to take back control of the door, because that guy could just fire his grenade launcher thing at point blank range and hit us again. We have to kill him now. Strangely, I couldn't shoot around the corner to kill him. I actually had to step into the room. Normally you could shoot around a 90-degree corner, and in retrospect it's probably because those two walls are different wall types. The game doesn't consider that to actually be a corner or something. It's just weirdly programmed. So I don't know, perhaps an oversight, or maybe there's some reason why I couldn't shoot around the corner there. So we've taken back control of the door. The question is, will someone else just charge the door from the other side and contest it again? And the answer, fortunately, was no. So this means Betty can pick her weapon back up off the floor and get back into the fight. I've already healed the wounds as best I can. Now I need to plan what to do next, and what I eventually decided was we're not going to go into this room. It's still too dangerous to go in. There's still 2, maybe 3 aliens in there somewhere. We can't really see much of it. I'm just going to try the other way and hope that that's a little bit easier. I did leave some of the squad behind watching the door in case we could get a kill with reaction fire from someone pursuing us. At the other end of things, our shield takes another battering from a grenade. Barrel scrape avoids damage, but Big Iron took a minor wound from that one. So now we know there's an alien behind that door in front of us. I wanted to investigate this door to the left. It leads to another room with all sorts of nooks and crannies, but it turned out there was nothing in there. The other door leads to a teleportation room, so that's interesting. We have a way to traverse the map using that, potentially. The alien from earlier eventually reappears. It gets shot and then runs off. I think it's trying to rear flank our guys who were going into the teleportation room right now. There he is, boom, headshot, can see him and has good line of sight. I was like, oh, that's an easy shot to take. Might as well do it because we might kill him on hit. But he somehow manages to miss, and that's dangerous because the civilian could just shoot back and actually damage boom. In this case, we're going to do this the reliable way. Betty runs over, takes a point-blank range shot. It wasn't enough to kill. That sucks, but Big Iron can do the same thing, and this is going to be enough to bring this guy down. You might note I'm not really bothering to stun these aliens because I'm still sort of panicking, and we haven't seen many guys wearing hats. These still all seem to be the regular ones, so I'm pretty sure these aren't what we're looking for. My next move was to take the entire squad through the teleporters that we captured, and that brings us to some other teleport room. We're like in the left corner of the map somewhere now. After capturing the room, we looked outside to see an alien standing there, so we'll just blast him quickly. That will reveal to the AI that we are here now and not back on the right hand side of the map. Not sure if it really has that sort of strategic knowledge though. Moving out of the room, there's a door on the right that goes back into the yellow area. Wasn't hugely interested in that. The other door goes into another room, which is actually the enemy's command center. Couldn't tell at this point, but this is an important room to take. And there are 3 enemies inside, and the leftmost one is very much covered in armor. Now before I'd made the mistake of thinking that that's an enemy type armoured civilian, but no, it's the civilian officer. And now the question is that civilian officer technically the leader? Before the game made a distinction between officer and leader. Maybe this guy's slightly more armoured than the armoured guy we saw before, so that means he's higher rank. We don't really know, but the eventual answer is to throw stun gas into the room and see what happens, because no matter who we're stunning, it's still good, and maybe this is the guy we actually need to get. So I just left gas in the room to stew for a bit, came back after a couple of turns, and we can see on the left there's a gun on the ground, so one enemy has been stunned, and their body is just invisible due to the glitch I mentioned last time. We tried to shoot this guy with Big Iron Billy, but I had that thing where I couldn't shoot around the corner again, so maybe it actually wasn't anything to do with wall type, since this seems to be evidence against my earlier theory. Not quite sure. Maybe Big Iron's just got short arms these days, or maybe shotguns can't actually shoot around corners. I feel like I'd seen them doing it before, but can't really remember. Now, we discovered the alien officer is still alive. He's hiding in the corner there. Big Iron missed that on his way in. As it happened, he just sat there for the next turn, so I had time to maneuver around, no one got shot or anything, and I eventually got some more stun gas into that corner. With that done, now we just need to get out of this guy's line of sight, so if he wants to attack us he'll have to move, and even if he doesn't move, he's going to be in gas. He's going to get gas whatever he does. Hopefully that's the plan. After a while, we open the door again, take another look, and things have worked. We've now captured the command center, meaning this guy must be stunned. His body's invisible again, but I think we've done the job. This reveals to us there are 4 enemies we still have to kill. There's a Harridan in this next room that we can't get to without doing a really wide lap through the entire base, which is annoying, and there are still the aliens in the green-yellow pussy area to deal with. So now I will slowly but surely move the squad to deal with that. The first alien was easy to deal with. It was sitting in the corridor just as we first entered the green-yellow area. Big Iron took it down. Then I set up in the room on the other side of the chamber where we were fighting the aliens earlier, just waiting for a chance to go in and find an angle on the enemy. A civilian's on the way, and thanks to our CCTV footage we can see him coming. But then, that happened. The Harridan shoots something. I guess this new grenade launcher weapon is somewhat standard among the aliens. It goes right across both rooms and kills Boom Headshot in one hit. Obviously that's bad news, but the real bad news is that he was wearing wolf armor, and that shot did like 70 something damage. So this indicates that as soon as we've got to the next armor tech level, we're actually supposed to be at the next one. So maybe we're actually falling further behind, despite my thoughts that we were catching up. Although that said, someone mentioned that the way it's supposed to work is your armor doesn't reduce damage, it's for all intents and purposes more health. It's just an invisible extra health bar, in which case maybe Boom just didn't have any armor left, so to speak, and there's just no indication of that. The game doesn't say that that's how it works, but it doesn't say how most things work, so maybe that is it, and maybe it's not as bad as it looks. Anyway, I managed to suppress the Harridan in a future turn, so then it was safe to run over here with Betty and shoot the civilian who was just setting up to attack us. I could shoot again, but I'd be stuck in the room with the Harridan, and that's very dangerous, especially with Betty on low health. So instead I chose to use my points running away. Big Iron's going to move up, take another shot at the civilian, bringing it down, and then again he'll run away. We're playing this as safe as possible, although that said, since this thing has a grenade launcher, taking cover doesn't necessarily help us. As it happened, all it did was run to cover itself, so now in the next turn, I'm trying to hammer it as much as I can. Big Iron gets a hit, then moves back to cover. Now Betty's going to do the same thing, playing this as safe as I can while still attacking an area that's far away from our squad, meaning that basically only Betty and Big Iron can do it thanks to their time units. We did get the kill without any more damage, and the final enemy in the base was unarmed for some reason. This seemed to cause the AI to just run about in circles once it was aggroed onto us. I had put gas out to try and force it to be stunned since it was just running through the gas, but for whatever reason it didn't work. A regular stun stick did though, so now we've captured a Harridan at the very least, and we can do the interrogation research if we want. Boom Headshot is dead though, that sucks. He was really good. He is going to be quite literally irreplaceable at this late stage in the campaign. Things are just getting harder. A nice aspect to this aftermath is that I somehow got loads of money. I captured 68 plasma batteries somehow, so at least we're getting a reward for capturing this base, much more than we did for capturing the other bases previously. The real question is, did we actually get an alien leader? And the answer was yes. In the research list after the mission, we can do alien leader interrogation. And as it states, that's pretty much our only lead on finding a way to actually defeat the aliens permanently, so we probably should get on that if we can survive long enough to see results.